Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. In this series, we are going to be seeing about the essence of Sri Bhashyam in English. Sri Bhashyam is the commentary written by Swami Ramanuja on the Vedanta Sutras of Vedavyasa Maharishi. In fact, studying Sri Bhashyam is the first command given by Swami Ramanuja. So it is essential that all Ramanuja Dasargal, all Ramanuja Shishyas get to study at least the essential concepts in Sri Bhashyam. This series aims to share the essential concepts of Sri Bhashyam. So Sri Bhashyam is the commentary on Vedanta Sutras. So what are Vedanta Sutras? Vedanta means Upanishad, the later part of Vedas. Vedas are divided into two bhagams, Purva Bhagam and Uttara Bhagam. Purva Bhagam gives an explanation about the various rituals being done or that have to be done, while Uttara Bhagam explains about Parabrahma. Vedanta Sutras are small sentences, most often incomplete sentences, that were written by Vedavyasa Maharishi to help us understand the meanings of Upanishads. These sutras, these extremely small sentences, they do not directly explain the meanings of Upanishad passages, but they convey us certain logic that needs to be applied when understanding Upanishad passages. There are primarily 10 Upanishads, and they have lot of verses in them. In these verses, there are places where there seems to be some contradiction, and there are places where we would not be able to understand the meaning right away. So to help us understand those passages, Vedavyasa had written Brahma Sūtras or Vedanta Sutras. So these sutras do not take a Vedic passage or Vedantic passage and they do not explain the meaning of that passage, but rather they give us the logic in which we have to approach in understanding those passages. Why did Vedavyasa do like this? He could have as well written a bhashyam or a commentary on the Upanishads, but rather he chose to give us the logic in which we could understand Upanishads. Well, there is a saying that in English, instead of giving some eatable to some person, it is better to teach him how to get his food. So in that similar manner, what Vedavyasa does is, instead of going through all the passages, what he does is, he gives us the essential logic with which we have to approach all the passages. So he takes certain passages from Upanishads which seem to be contradictory or which seem not to be giving out their meanings at first glance. He takes some of those passages, he gives us tools to analyze those passages so that we ourselves could apply the same tools when it comes to similar other passages in Upanishads. For example, in the 5th Adhikarana, which is Ikshat Adhikaranam, there is a word called as Sat, and that Sat is said to be the Jagat Karanam. Now we don't exactly know what this Sat means. It could mean a myriad of things. Sat basically means something that exists. So what is that exists? It could be anything. Vedavyasa gives us the logic in which we have to approach in understanding this passage. What he says is, whatever is being denoted by this word Sat, in that same passage, at the beginning of that prakaranam, beginning of that context, this Sat is said to do some sankalpa. So, what is the entity that could do a sankalpa? Do sort of a desire or put an effort? Only a sentient being could do a sankalpa. So, this is how he teaches us. So, whenever you have some ambiguous word, what you have to do is go to the start of the prakaranam, go to the start of the context and see for any lingams, for any qualities that could describe the meaning of the word better. So this is one simple example of how he teaches us to understand the Vedantic passages better. So this is what Vedavyasa has done. He has composed Vedanta Sūtras. Sūtras on Vedantam. Vedantam is Upanishad. And what are Sūtras? These are extremely small sentences, often incomplete sentences. These sentences, what they do is, they give us the logic in which we have to analyze Upanishad passages. That is Vedanta Sūtras. Now, what has Swami Embiramanar done? He has commented on these sutras. Why? Because these sutras are extremely small in nature. So nobody would get to understand the exact logic that has been expounded by Vedavyasa in these small sentences. And to add to that, most of these sentences are incomplete. So Vedavyasa wants to make these sentences as small as possible. He knows that there will be great Mahans like Swami Ramanuja who would be able to easily understand the purport of these extremely small sutras. So, since these sutras are extremely complicated and not complete as well, so we need a bhashyam, we need a commentary to understand the logic that is hidden in these sutras. So, that's where Swami Embiramanar, he gives us the commentary Sri Bhashyam on these Vedanta Sutras. There is a lakshanam for sutras, a shloka to describe how a sutra would be. Alpākṣaram, Asandigdham, Sāravat Viśvatomukham, Astobham anavadyaṃ cha sūtraṃ sūtravido viduḥ. Alpākṣaram. These sutras are Alpākṣaram. Akshara means alphabets. These sutras contain the minimum amount of alphabets needed to convey any message. In Sanskritam, to refer to a pot, there are two words, ghataha and kalashaha. Ghataha, that padam has two alphabets. Kalashaha has three alphabets. So, when we want to denote a pot, when someone is composing sutras, he would be using the padam ghataha, since it is Alpākṣaram. So, in that way, whatever is the minimum number of alphabets required to convey this meaning, that's what is being taken in a sutra. So, sutras are extremely small. Alpākṣaram, Asandigdham. They won't lead to any ambiguity. When you see a padam, you can easily know what that padam is going to refer to. In Loka Prayoga, we have a lot of cases where the same sentence could give to a lot of meanings. We have double meaning words. We have sentences that could give a lot of meanings. So they lead to ambiguity. But the padams in sutras, they are supposed to be asandigdham. They should not lead to any sandeha or any doubt or confusion. No ambiguity. So that is an essential characteristic of sutras. Alpākṣaram, Asandigdham. Sāravat. What these sutras do? They basically give us analytical tools, logic, to help us understand Vedic passages, Vedantic passages. These are sort of analytical tools. They are called as vicharam. There could be vicharams about a lot of things. For example, two persons were discussing very intensely about whether crows have teeth or not. Crows bite, they chew, They do all things that we do, humans do. We have teeth. We use teeth to do those things. So, do crows have teeth or not? They're not visible, but they're doing these chewing and biting stuff. So, they should be having teeth. And these two people are doing an intense debate on whether crows have teeth or not. It could be an intense debate, but it has no purpose. Sutras are not like that. They are intense analysis on Sāravat. They have the extreme essence. The purpose of these sutras are supreme. In case of Vedanta, the purpose of this vicharam is knowing about the supreme being. So, it's the purpose of human existence itself. So, that's how sutras have to be, not merely analytical tools on any stuff, but on Sāravat, on whatever is really Sara. It has to be vicharam about a very significant Vishayam. So, Vedanta Sutras are like that. They are going to be doing vicharam about the Parabrahman. Alpākṣaram, Asandigdham, Sāravat, Viśvatomukham. Even though these sutras are extremely small, they have the minimum number of words and alphabets. Their meanings is Viśvatomukham. They have very gambhira meanings, very deep and profound meanings. Viśvatomukham. Alpākṣaram Asandigdham Sāravat Viśvatomukham Astobham anavadyaṃ sūtraṃ sūtravido viduḥ. Astobham anavadyaṃ. There are kind of Stobhaksharas. Stobha means some alphabets or words. They don't have any meanings, but they are used for Pada Puranam. For example, there are different meters in Sanskritam, Chandas. Let's say in each quarter of a verse, or in each quarter of a shloka, in each verse, there has to be 8 alphabets. There have to be 8 alphabets. You have 2 padams, 2 words. They have 7 alphabets, 4 and 3, let's suppose. You need a single alphabet to complete the padam. You don't need any separate meaning. You could insert a word like ha or cha or something like that. It's not going to have a meaning, but it's going to do pada puranam. It's going to complete the verse. And then you have some stobhaksharas. You have Rama, the Tirunamam. You can do alapanam on that, like how people sing Ramacharitaram. If they sing about Ramacharitaram, they will do some alapanam on it, Rama something, like do alapanam on it. Rama is, that alone is the Tirunamam, the holy name of Embirman. The other thing that is being sung, that is Stobhaksharam. Those kind of stuff is not going to be present in sutras. Every alphabet is going to be extremely important and it's going to lead to some meaning. Astobham anavadyaṃ. There is going to be no defect in these sutras. So these sutras are extremely critical analytical tools, but they have been devised by sages, Maharishis like Jaimini or Vedavyasa and other Maharishis. So there is not going to be some other person who is going to come and say that there is some fault in these sutras. No. These are sages who, by virtue of their tapas, have obtained such like unlimited knowledge, and they have used that knowledge to do sutra pranayanam, to write these sutras. So these sutras are going to be anavadyam. There is not going to be any defects, doshas in these sutras. So these are the characteristics of sutras. They're going to be extremely small, but they have some profound meaning in it, and they are going to help us understand or clear away our confusions in certain Vedic Vedantic passages. And since these Vedanta Sutras are written by sage Vedavyasa, Maharishi, so it is only possible for Acharyas like Embirmanar or Alamandar to know the purport of these small sentences, Vedanta Sutras. So that's why Swami Ramanuja has given us Sri Bhashyam, his commentary on Vedanta Sutras, because we ourselves, even if we have good Sanskrit knowledge, even if we have studied Tarka Mimamsa and other Shastras, there is no way for us to understand the meanings of Vedanta Sutras. So that's why Swami Ramanuja has given us Sri Bhashyam, which is a commentary on Vedanta Sutras. So we got to know about what sutras are, and specifically we got to know about what Vedanta Sutras are, and that Sri Bhashyam is a commentary on Vedanta Sutra and why Sri Bhashyam was required. And as I said previously, studying Sri Bhashyam was the first command given by Swami Ramanuja. So it is extremely essential that we get to know at least the simple or basic concepts of Sri Bhashya, and that's what you're going to see about in this series. In the next episode, we will see about the characteristics of a Bhashyam, of a commentary, and how Swami Ramanuja's Sri Bhashyam is a commentary on Vedanta Sutras. In this episode, we saw about Sutras. In next episode, we will see about Bhashyam. What is Bhashyam about, and how is Sri Bhashyam a commentary? How does it become a commentary on Vedanta Sutras? Stay tuned for the next episode. Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha.